5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, everyone, join in with me. Hit the like button and hit the share button as I'm doing on the smartphone mobile device. I haven't heard that one in a while, have you? You're going to hear a lot more that you haven't heard in a while right here on the Power Hour tonight with myself, Lee Craft, and over there, Mr. Dujanay Bland. We got TJ Zizzo lined up, and you know what? When we have him on, he's about to go out. That's good news for the drag racing world, Mr. Bland.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. It's always fun having TJ on, and it's always fun when it's their time to go and get involved in Top Fuel because they always make it interesting because they're always prepared.
Yes.
So usually they're not the ones that's going to go home. They will be racing on Sunday. So, it's going to be fun. And they make all these other guys that race full time's life a living hell. And I love it.
They do. At this point right now, when people look at the entry sheet and they're like, oh, man, Doug Foley's here? Oh, man, TJ Zizzo's here? Dang, please don't be a over 16 car, entry scenario because they are certainly a threat anytime they show up.
Indeed.
Thus is the competitive nature of NHRA Top Fuel. And then the second guest tonight, Chris Graves, owner, promoter of Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos, Fuel Altered Chaos, everything chaos imaginable. And they were able to finally get the season underway from the Texas Motorplex this past weekend.
Yeah, that was good for them. They've been chomping at the bit to get this thing kicked off, and they had a great event. And it's always cool that they look ahead and we're able to kind of save everybody the grief, the money, and get this thing on a weekend where they could complete it and fans enjoy it. Racers don't waste money, and they can have a good event. And I was glad they were able to get this thing kicked off. I know he's been chomping at the bit to get this thing rolling. So super cool and great event too.
Absolutely. It was well worth the wait. And look, we're not going to wait any longer. All of this is brought to you by Weldon High Performance. For your high performance application, the right pump, it's Weldon High Performance. After this word from them, TJ Zizzo. The Ziz live with us here on the Power Hour. And folks, that means he's about to burn nitro. And that's a good thing, TJ.
I got to tell you guys, I'm getting older. I'm getting more bald. And I am getting more tired by the freaking moment. I will tell you that. So let's get this baby rolling this year. No doubt.
Absolutely.
So you're just going to, you looked over the car and looks like everything looks good from last year, and you're just going to simply go with what you had, roll it out, and put some nitro in it and run it, right?
Boy, if that was the only case, I take a deep breath. You guys mentioned Doug Foley, you mentioned us. Those are really, really good people on the super part-time side. Although Doug Foley goes out quite a bit, but on the part-time side, that they do a good job, and we really care about the sport. We care about what we do. We care about our team. We care about our marketing partners. Heck, we even care about the NHRA, So we go out there, we try to do the best we can, but that takes hours, guys. We spend at least 2,000 man hours per event preparing our race car to go out there. So to answer your question, no, we don't just put nitro in it and go to the starting line. There's no doubt we're working on this thing right now. We have about 12 people here tonight working, if not more. We've been working since ultimately October, getting ready for this event. And I think that's why we go out there and we shine. Actually, I don't think I know. I sometimes I use the phrase I think, but that's a lie. I know we go out there and do well because of the effort we put in at the shop. I mean, just because we're not at the racetrack doesn't mean we're not learning, doesn't mean that we're not talking to our competitors or watching NHRA.com and seeing what's going on out there or working on our stuff and trying to fine tune it. Sure, our last race, we were #1 qualifier at St. Louis, and that's great, but that was last year. This is a whole new year. So we have fine tuned a lot of our program to do a better job and really worked on some things that bit us last year. But guess what? It's drag racing. There'll be more things to bite us at Chicago. I could guarantee it.
Absolutely. That may very well be the case, but you all can handle it. Your team has weathered many things and does a fine, exceptional job, even though you do not show up to that many races. Everyone routinely says that if you all did run the full schedule, you'd be a championship threat automatically, and I think that is the case. Speaking of not so many races, TJ, you're a Chi-Town homeboy, and down there in Joliet, right now we're down to one race a year at the drag strip. That's it, the national event. And poor old Route 66 Raceway, when they put a post online about this national event coming, they absolutely get eviscerated in the comment section of folks that are so disappointed that it is just that one event and no local racing. Your thoughts on this one event and its importance?
First of all, it's a beautiful facility. It deserves more than one event. It's the racing surface is decent. I'm not going to say it's great anymore. It needs a little love, but the facility is nice. The stands are good. The pit area is nice. It's nicer than, I'm going to say this, nicer than any facility the NHRA owns, and it just sits there dormant. Drag racing is good for multiple things. The first thing it's good for is teaching kids, and I say kids, but adults too, how to drag race. They could take a car out there on a Wednesday night. Maybe they'll get hooked and maybe they'll drive a top fuel car. I mean, there are so many ways in which safety plays into having a local racetrack. I joke, it keeps kids off the streets. I know I never street raced because I had Great Lakes Dragway just north of us, and I was going there. So it is ultimately a disgrace to our sport to have that place only opened up for one event. But with that all said, I am grateful that there is an event there for us once a year. It's a great facility for us to race at because 99% of our marketing partners are from the Chicagoland area. So I love it. But it's something that really needs to be considered moving forward. I wish there was someone who could come in and purchase it. I know there's been a bunch of rumors on the facility. I think they're all rumors. I think if the right offer was made, it could be a facility that could be open all year long, or at least in the good weather of the year.
Any new changes to your team, or everybody's pretty much the same as it was last year?
I'm blessed, man. I mean, let's face it, my dad and I are blessed. We have had some of the same team members for 32 years. We have had our same crew chief for over 20. We've had all the people that work on this race car, the core people that work on this race car are almost the people who started on this race car with us. It's a wonderful feeling. We don't need to sit around the table anymore and discuss what we're going to do for the weekend. Everyone knows what we need to do. So it takes pressure off of everyone. We have the same people and we have new people. Let's face it, when you're competitive, you do a good job, you represent your brand well, people flock to come here. It's wonderful. So we'll have some new team members that will be on the peripheral. They'll hang out, they'll see what it takes, but they've also been here since October. They don't just come to our shop to go to the event. there's a lot of people that love to touch the back door of our trailer and say, we helped. Well, that's not the case, man. You got to put 2,000 hours in before you are initiated onto our team. And I know I sound like a jerk, but it's the truth. And I think that's why we're successful, because we've had the same core group of people on our team for a long time. They're veterans. They're good at what they do. And with all that being said, we still go out there and make mistakes, and we try to clean up these mistakes. And when you race 3 or 4 times a year, it's hard to not make a mistake, but we keep them to the bare minimum because of the team members we have. I know I was thumbing through National Dragster sometime in November, or it might have even been January, and I noticed that we go down the racetrack more than any other car that we compete against. We went down the racetrack 71.9% of the time last year. The closest other was, oh yeah, that's it, Antron Brown, the guy that won the championship. He was at 69%, I believe. So that goes to show you we put our car together. There's no me in that, would I have a mouse in my pocket? These guys put this hot rod together for us to go down the racetrack and do a good job each and every time.
TJ, is that the pancake stuff down there?
I knew somebody would see that. It is, my man. It is. It is absolutely there. And I was like, oh man, is the camera going to pick that up? It's great. You could tell we are thrashing to go to this event, because I got plans here for our new shop and new expansion of our shop. I got pancake biscuits or pancake mix over here. I got uniforms over here from a couple years ago that I'm giving to older team members. Yeah, I got to tell you, man, that is pancake mix. And truth be told, we could go out there and we could be number one qualifier. I mentioned we were number one qualifier at St. Louis last year. We're also number one qualifier at Chicago last year, against 19 really stout cars last year. I said before we left last year that there would be 19 cars that deserved to qualify, that truly deserved to qualify. And I was really hoping to be just one of those. And we go out there and we blaze down the racetrack multiple times and did a really good job. But I'm not known for that. We're known for making pancakes. I'm known for making pancakes. Nitro cakes are where it's at. Hang on. One of our fans who helps me out a lot, Mo, he even made nitro cake decals for fans. I mean, that's how crazy this sport is. It's not about sometimes your performance or how you do it. It's truly how you interact with fans. I mean, you guys see my dad walk by? It was great.
Yeah, we saw it. We'll wave back.
You can tell we're thrashing on stuff, right? It's amazing. It is amazing, no doubt. I mean, that's the dedication right there. I mean, the man you just saw walk in here, he's going to be 74 years old when we go to Chicago on Sunday, right? And he's here, what time is it? 8:15 or so? He's here at 8:15 on a Tuesday night working on our junk. I mean, I am grateful to be able to stand by my dad every single day. I mean that. I will tell you, I don't work Saturdays anymore. I do take Saturdays off, but I'm here on Sundays. So I have one day off that I'm at home trying to get organized with my family and trying to spend time with my wife and my kids. But I'm here 6 days a week, but my dad's here 7 days a week. It's crazy.
It is crazy. But it speaks to the success you guys have. You don't have to get ready, because you guys stay ready all the time, and because you stay ready, you guys are able to produce those number one qualifiers like that. And to those who know, it's not a surprise, because we know the work that you put in off the racetrack.
Thank you. And that means a lot to me. When you talk that way, you got to remember it's been a long off season for us, right? So it's been a long off season where I forget about the fanfare around our team, because we are just working. We are heads down working. The door is going to go up on Tuesday. It's going to come back down on Thursday when we get to the racetrack, and we're going to continue to work. So I appreciate that, but once again, this is a sport that beats you down, right? I mean, that's why I love it. That's why I think everyone in drag racing loves the sport, because it's demanding, it's hard, it's a challenge, it's not easy, it's not for the weak, and it's not for the meek. And we go out there and we try to make it look easy, but I'll tell you, we sweat through it all weekend long.
So, TJ, obviously, I know that you have been waiting and wanting to get back in your hot rod and go well over 325 up to 330 miles per hour in NHRA competition. But I'm sure you have kept an eye on your competitors as a fan. What have you thought thus far of the 2025 season in NHRA Top Fuel?
The numbers on the racetrack, right? And let's talk about the actual. Let's not talk about the driving aspect of this yet. Let's talk about the performance aspect, right? We have seen performance increase. We've seen it get better. Not much, but just enough. And when we're dealing with thousandths of a second, that's a lot. So we have seen ETs get a little bit better. We have seen the mile an hour creep up even a little bit more. We have seen this idea of canards coming off the car and going on the car. We have paid enough attention. Like I said, we watch NHRA.tv for a reason. We watch it because we learn. So, yeah, I take a deep breath and you see that weight on my shoulders, right? I know that there are only, I believe, 9 full-time teams out there. But I also know those 9 teams are stout. And I know that there are 14 teams going to this race that we're going to attend that will be good cars, quality cars. Although I believe only 17 are pre-entered at this point, but 14 are stout. That all truly deserve to be number 1 qualifier, because they all work hard. All teams work hard to do this. And then I look at the driving standpoint of what I'm up against. And these guys and girls, they're badass. I mean, they really are. They have perfected their craft. They do a good job. They go up there relaxed, breathing, and stomping on the gas at the right time. I see it time and time again. And my crew chief, Mike Kern, just joked with me. He goes, "Hey, we've been working on this thing for 6 months. We're going to give you a week to practice." And I joke about it. And that's all I can do. All I can do is go in there and do the best job I can. But I know that these guys and girls have raced 5 races before us. I believe it's 5. The last time we went down the racetrack was last September. I understand all that stuff. But all we could do is put our best foot forward. I learned a valuable lesson last year. I think the most valuable lesson I learned last year is we went to Norwalk. I think we only qualified 10th, but we truly had the best car there. We were going up and down the racetrack like clockwork, and we were working on our craft. And good old Trip Tatum comes out, another super part-time guy, goes out there and left on me and beat me on a hole shot. And it had been a decade or so since I was last beat on a hole shot. And I was like, this was a wake-up call for TJ Zizzo. This was a wake-up call to know that, hey, you got to be on your game. And if you're not, expect to lose. It's pretty simple. And I actually texted or called Trip Tatum right after he beat us. I called him on like a Monday, and I said, "Hey, dude, thanks for beating us. That was a wonderful wake-up call for me." And then I went to Night Under Fire. I worked a little bit on my craft. I talked to Ron Tobler, and he gave me some pointers. Talked to some other drivers. They gave me some pointers, because the great thing about this sport is everyone wants to see success, So I have a couple people in my pocket that I could call at any time that give me some pointers. Went out there Night Under Fire and realized, okay, I can still do this. And then we went to Indy, honed in on it a little bit more. Went to St. Louis and killed it. But I also know that was last year, and I'm a little older and a little uglier. So we'll see how it all pans out. But yes, to answer your question 5 minutes later, we do as a team pay attention to everyone else and what they're doing, but we also have to pay attention to us.
No, everybody would love to see you race full time. That's for sure, and you should be. I don't, some sponsors got to be doing something to, you put enough tape out there. I think it's time for you guys to jump on board. But
I gotta tell you, dude, I really appreciate that, and it's awesome. But I would love to do more. You can't win. Okay, let me rephrase it. I'm taking a deep breath. You can win going to one race. Anybody can win going to one race, but your probability gets better as you go to more races. And this year we're carved out to go to 3. Last year we went to 5. The year before that we went to 5. But when you're going to that limited schedule, and we are racing that limit of a schedule, it's tough to win. So we would love to bolster our program to go to 8 races a year. I think 8 races would get us in a spot where we'd have a better chance of winning. 10 would be probably at our max, because all of us on our team have real jobs. We have real jobs. Like, this is what we really do. And I love the dynamic of who I race with. One of the reasons my dad and I are still here at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night is because we're surrounded by a wonderful group of team members. And if we wanted to go to more than 8 races or 10 races, the dynamic changes. Then you need new people, different people.
I get that.
It's not the camaraderie that we have currently. And I got to tell you, in my younger years, I would have loved to have done this full time, but I'm in a perfect balance of life, right? I go to work, Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. We work on a race car at night. We work on a race car on a Sunday. I still get to go home to my beautiful wife. I get to go home to my kids, although they'll both be in college next year. How did that happen? I don't know. I really don't. But, the idea of balance in life is pretty important. A lot of people I speak to, they love the sport of drag racing. They are all eaten up by it, right? And I am too, but I also could lay my head on my own pillow almost every night. And it's a wonderful feeling. And God, I don't know, that energy has to be there. And I don't know if it could be there for 20 races a year. I don't know if it could. I know it could be there for 8 to 10. I know our team members could do it. I know we'd be much more successful going to those races. But full time, man, dude, that deal would have to be right on the money. I mean, and we would ask for way too much money. Because it would have to be right. It would have to be at least 5 years. It would have to be the right money to make it all worthwhile for the team members that got us here. Our goal ultimately is to win the Wally. I mean, we haven't done that yet. My dad has been in NHRA drag racing for 45 years, and he has never won a Wally, nor have I. We've won in every other category we've ever done, but never a Wally in Top Fuel. So, I told my dad the other day, I go, hey, Dad, how much first of all, there's a bunch of head gaskets on the table. And I go, Dad, because we never want to tell my dad exactly what stuff costs, because he'll probably pull the plug on this thing like 8 years ago, right? So, I'm like, hey, Dad, what do you think this stack of 39 head gaskets costs? And he goes, TJ, probably like $700. I laughed so hard. I go, no, seriously, Dad, guess again. He goes, I don't know, 900? And I go, no, $5,600 for 39 head gaskets. He's like, what? I'm like, yep, that's the sport in which we love to play. And we need about 230 in our trailer to compete at this level. That was just to fill the voids of stuff. And I go, hey, Dad, what do you think we've spent to try to win that? Because we have a picture of a Wally on our trailer, inside our trailer, and we were standing in the trailer. I think this happened yesterday. We were standing in our trailer in the middle of the day bullshitting. And, I go, what do you think it has cost us to try to win that? And we haven't won one yet. Because I don't know, TJ, what? I go, $12 million. We're not wealthy. Like, this isn't play money for us. We are working hard to attain sponsorships over the course of 20 years to do that. I mean, this isn't go in daddy's piggy bank and go racing. That has nothing to do with this. In fact, when we go into our piggy banks, we know we're broke, and we've had to do that plenty of times, but that means we're broke AF. But that's just the dedication that we all have. And I keep on talking about dedication, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes to pull the car out and be able to at least attempt to go number one. And I'm not saying we're going to do that this year. Shit, we could go there and not qualify, but we will put our best foot forward to do the best job we can. But I will tell you, man, I'll be rusty. You know, you guys talked about performance and numbers. I know I'm going to be rusty. The first time I step on that gas, my ass is going to be in the suites behind the starting line. That's where it's going to be. And maybe my head will catch up to 600 feet when the car goes across the finish line. I mean, that's just how fast these things are. Then it'll take me a couple runs to get settled in, and I'll do just fine. But I always tell these guys, that first run of the year, make it easy. And I think the first one of last year, we went 376 at like 326 or something. I think it was 376 and 326, right in that ballpark. And then last year to go 334 miles an hour, that was exciting. We did that at Norwalk, and I got out of the car, and I was more excited about that than ET. You know, I mean, ET, don't get me wrong, ET wins your races, but mile an hour is badass. It feels good. Like, you're going through that finish line, and you know you're just hauling. You know, Brittany went, 341 a couple of weekends ago? Bad at the bone. I mean, that had to feel amazing.
Okay, TJ, you need a funny car. Okay, because you can go down to Havana and run Nitro Chaos and then Great Lakes up there north of you, okay? Okay, I mean, I'm just saying, you need a funny car, okay?
Okay, hang on. I got to stop right there. The gentleman you saw walk in here with head gaskets, right? You saw him. He's older than me. He's my dad. He's more handsome than I am. He has a full head of hair, right? He said, as long as he is alive, he will never see me drive a funny car. Ever.
Man.
Ever. And I'm like, why, Dad? Come on. Well, his original partner, El DePozo, from the Midwest, right from Northbrook, right down the street from our shop here, he passed away in a funny car. And I was just starting drag racing and driving on my own. This was way back in like 1993, I believe, or 4, 93. I thought there were cops here, but the cops are here because we're working on one of the squad cars in our body shop. I was like, what the hell is that noise up my window? Of course, one of our team members turned it on, you know? So anyway, he said, since that day, I can't drive a funny car. And I respect my dad enough to say I won't, but I did tell him this. When you pass, whenever that is, right, I'm going to climb behind a wheel of a funny car. There is no doubt in my mind. I want to do it. I love that. I love the excitement of something new, right? And I did tell him, Dad, if that car doesn't start, if it doesn't start for some reason, I will absolutely not drive it because you're telling me something from above that, hey, kid, no, you are not driving it.
All right.
That is the truth.
That is respectable. That is respectable for sure. And TJ, look, we know whatever you drive and whenever you show up, you are going to be a threat. And I know the hometown fans are certainly going to enjoy seeing you there at Route 66 Raceway. I know you're looking forward to get there. You and your team and the NHRA is certainly looking forward to have you back because Ziz fandom is real. Go get it, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. You have a good night, TJ.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
Man, I always like talking to TJ. Cool
Me too.
dude. They got some cool stuff happening, even some skunk work projects up there at their shop. He can't even show everything. They do some high-level body work in that place, and it is so cool that then they go out and run a top field dragster with a very cool sponsor, by the way. Having Rust-Oleum on board and everything they've done over the years has been very cool. So
it has been. And I can respect that, man. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy running a full schedule, but you gotta want it first of all. And if that balance means everything, and you know, with that, continuity means everything. And sure, you could probably run a full schedule, but then you lose, you know, what the nucleus of your team is. That changes things. And then that means that, oh, maybe I'm not nearly as successful as I was because, you know, some of those people that make what they are can't come. So, you know, you gotta want to do that. And I can respect that, man. You know what I mean? run a few races, have a little fun, and you got to work full time. That's another whole thing. You know what I mean? That it's dynamics there, man. Whole bunch of dynamics there. So I can respect that a lot.
Absolutely. Hey, TJ, you still run Redline Oil? Yes, no? Oh, okay, great. Well, we're going to plug Redline right here, and then we're going to talk to Mr. Graves.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
And now with us live on the Competition Plus Power Hour, Chris Graves, promoter, owner extraordinaire of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos and Fuel Altered Chaos and every other chaos. And man, you still got hair even with the starting of this year and 2 races being postponed all the way to last weekend, but it got started off right.
Yes, it did finally, man. And I love starting off at the Motorplex. It's an hour and a half from my house. It's easy for me. The rest of them are pretty long hauls, but that's all part of the game. But, Christy and DeMarcus and Eric and the team down there always give us an incredible racetrack. And we saw some numbers from people that I wouldn't have even expected. Several first-time winners. We battled through. Well, we lost Wednesday test. We were going to test Wednesday. Thankfully, we got a full day in on Thursday. Well, I say that. No, we actually lost 2 hours that morning testing. Friday came around. It rained. They dried it. Finally got started pretty much on schedule. We missed one session, but we started our Friday night feature show on time. And then it started drizzling in the middle of Funny Car Q1. And it's like, and they dried it again. And we started running again. And then it started drizzling again. And it was 10:45. And I'm like, man, this ain't going to happen. So we had 2 qualifiers in Nitro Chaos on Saturday before first round, second round, and semi or finals. We had Nitro Chaos guys had 5 rounds in one day. I hate doing that, but we had to offer 2 sessions. It was a thrash, but Saturday was great, and the fans came out, and the weather was great, and the track was great, and the racing was tight. There was upsets like crazy. It was a really good time.
With all of that forethought to get to this point, like how much work did it take to reorganize everything, to move things back so that you guys could do this last weekend?
Well, it's kind of like TJ said. He said he started working on 2025 in October. I did too. I mean, this stuff, there's no off season in drag racing, and just because you're not at the racetrack doesn't mean you're not putting in the hours. And so, when you get into a situation like that for a promoter, for me, it's pretty easy. I don't have a race car. I don't have a crew. I don't have all this stuff. I don't have these flights and these people that are taking off work and all that. It's my guys. It's my racers and their crews and their families that are all the ones that are scrambling. I'm getting texts going, hey, man, I got to cancel these flights in 45 minutes or I'm not going to get a refund. And, hey, man, my hotel's going to go out in 30 minutes and I got to tell me something, man, and I'm doing everything I can to save them boys as much dollars and stress as I can. And so I've always been very adamant about making calls early, and it bit me one time in San Antonio. It bit me one time, but every other time we've done those calls on Monday, Tuesday, it's always paid off and the racers appreciate it. And so that's why we do things like that. But they're the ones that have to put in all the swapping around and changing this and changing that. Then that's not easy. I just hop in the motorhome and drive to the track with my wife and my kiddo, and we go to the track. But I got to change some flyers and update some websites and things like that. But it's really the teams that are racing that it hits the hardest, and that's why we make those calls early.
Well, that's one reason why the Chaos brand is being successful and has been successful is you're willing to assist the racer and think on them, and it's not just about the show and the promotion itself. Hey, speaking of a racer, Very impressed by the snake, Jake Sanders, getting the job done. That hot rod looks like a Hot Wheel car of a front engine dragster, and it looks like it's got some hot wheels in time and mile per hour. He's getting it figured out.
Dude, that was the car of the weekend, no doubt about it. Period. End of story. I think they made at least one test run Saturday. I don't know, or Thursday. If y'all saw that photo, that thing's at 300 feet with the front wheels 2 feet in the air. I'm like, damn, man, that thing and driving that thing's got to be wild as hell. But he's the tuner and the driver, and he fabricates all the stuff on that thing. I mean, he's running the whole damn car. He's got great support, no doubt. His crew is tight. They all work together well, but the numbers, the consistency, he was consistently quick, and that's why he won. And to run 65s and 271s, and last year, I mean, as you know, I mean, he was low fours every run. He was learning how to drive. Everybody was learning their gel. And after the race at Ennis, I walked up to him. I brought him his belt buckle from the Motorplex and his trophy from Twisted Shifters and all that. And I said, dude, you can be a champion this year, man. So I'm excited for Jake, man. Well, how cool the father-son deal. Mark Sanders, his dad, was the first Funny Car Chaos winner in history in the A field. Now Jake's a winner in the A field in Nitro Chaos. Crazy.
Absolutely is crazy. And here's that photo you were talking about. Yes, that is absolute. That's drag racing right there. That is just so
legit.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's
amazing. That's amazing. I love the chaos for the simple fact that, like, you can have any type or so many different types of funny car bodies and stuff like this. It just takes you back to just straight classic drag racing.
Yep, that's it.
Well, Chris, we are past the first race for Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos. You are throwing in the wrinkle this year with another chaos. Fuel altered chaos is looming off in the distance, but certainly there's a lot of excitement about it. I was there at Bakersfield. You helped out with the covers there for fuel altered, and there wasn't a single fuel altered driver that wasn't thinking fuel altered chaos at Tucson, though they were at March meet. So it's already on the radar big time.
Yeah, and there's over 20 cars pre-entered. I think we're going to see close to 30 probably if all the people say they're coming that are possibly coming that haven't already signed up. Jim Hughes, I'm super pumped to work with him at Tucson. I met him several years ago, and he's been every year, man. He's all over me. Dude, give me some chaos. I want some chaos. And I'm like, okay. Finally, we got it done. Fuel altereds belong at Tucson. That's a great place to do this deal. Super excited about it. November. I don't remember the exact date, but it's 15 events from now in my head. So, but yeah, we're pumped up. That's going to finish the season for us. We're super excited. Who knows who's going to show up, man? It's going to be good.
Chris, why do the racers love chaos so much? And why, if I got a funny car and I have not showed up to this race, why should I show up to chaos?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of answers to that probably, but as Lee can vouch, man, we're just a big family out there. We're laid back. We're going to grassroots racetracks. You put 2,000 or 3,000 people in a Mocan Dragway or an Eddyville Raceway Park or whatever, and you feel like it's Woodstock. We're parking, you're parked in the front row. There's no pit ropes. There's no autograph session schedules. There's cars whacking the throttle. The drivers are accessible all the time. It's $20-$30 at the most to get in. You get to see more cars per, it's a less than $1 per car on the property. It's the entertainment value's there. We don't mess around. We run on time. We have cool filler classes. We got gassers. We do small tire stuff. We do jets. We do all kinds of exciting stuff there. It's a Friday night deal under the lights. That every freaking drag race with fuel cars or funny cars needs to be under the lights at least one day. We're just, I mean, I don't know. I was born in '84, man. I grew up in the '90s. I was a Texas Motorplex kid. Went to Bandamere every year. Went to Houston, Dallas. Then started going out on the road, working for Peanut and Tony Pedregon and Mitch King and all these guys, doing the IHRA deal in the early 2000s. And that was right at the end, in my opinion, of like when it was still legit and kind of fun and laid back and stuff. And I mean, it was getting corporate, no doubt, by that time, but it's got that late 80s, early 90s vibe, in my opinion. And I don't know if that's because that's what I was brought up on and that's how I was trying to duplicate things or whatever. But we traveled. Me and my wife traveled the country doing the Max Tackle photo deal for almost 20 years. I've been to over 75 racetracks. I've seen all kinds of different events, all kinds of different ways that people promote events, execute events, to the extremely prepared racetracks to the extremely unprepared racetracks. And so if you absorb all that stuff for as many years as we've been doing this and driving around doing drag racing, you just kind of figure out what not to do and what probably will work. And we make mistakes all the time, but we try to be super fair and super courteous and super friendly to the racers. We try to make it as we pay as much money as we possibly can for a super low entry fee. We don't charge for golf cart passes, and we don't charge for parking in the concrete and all this goofy crap that goes on. And we're just keep it real and have fun. And the number one rule is have fun. And if we can bring safe race cars and good drivers and quality cars to the show, and go to places like Eddyville and Mocan and Cordova and all these tracks we go to, we're the U.S. nationals for these tracks every year, and that feels great. And our racers feel that when they get there, and these fans show up to come watch. And we got to keep these small tracks open, and we got to pump them people through the gate and give them a successful weekend so they can pay their bills and stuff. Because I mean, most of these tracks are bracket racing 75% of the time, and we come in there and bring the thunder and all the chaos and that everybody kind of freaks out a little bit, but it's exciting and it's just a cool deal. And I mean, I don't know. We've had over 200 funny car racers run our deal, and we've had over probably 60 people run Nitro Chaos so far. And I don't know, like hardly a one, maybe. I can't think of one person. It's like, this sucked, I'm going home. I don't even think of one. I can't even think of one.
For me, yes, fun, absolutely. The practical side is something that impressed me years ago. I remember the first time there was a car in qualifying that was not able to stage, and I'm like, well, they're done. But no, they just went to the back of the line, got their stuff fixed, and they still made a qualifying lap. Like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, you're here to race, you're here to enter the field, you're here to run your car, and it's qualifying. Like, yes, it's still an element of competition, but run your car, have the opportunity if there's still time. I mean, so Dujanay, look, just practical things like that. It just makes sense for the racer.
Yeah. We did that. Yeah, we did that Saturday. Brian Coleman's got the only nitro burning street legal fuel coupe thing in the world. That thing is badass. And he struggled in Q1. He tore something up, couldn't make it back for Q2. DNQ'd. I'm like, God, poor guy. He's running the whole season. He told me he's so excited to run all 5 Nitro Chaos races. He took off work. He's a paramedic or something in a hospital, and he's got to take off like 8 months in advance. He got all that figured out, and he didn't qualify. And it's like, damn, and he wants points. And he drove from Wisconsin to Dallas, and it's like, And he comes up to me and he goes, hey, man, can I make a test hit? And I'm like, hell yeah. Bring that thing up in the back of the lanes after first round. We'll run you down the track. Goes out there and runs 450. His best pass ever. And for him to be able to drive home with that ET slip in his pocket, knowing I'm going to Eddyville with a car that's going to go down the track, just another example of it bites you in the ass every now and then. Somebody comes up for a test hit and oils her down. But, not very often. We only had one oil down all weekend. So, yeah, we keep them clean. They keep them clean. We got a bunch of really good racers. And it's taken a couple years to kind of train everybody to kind of gel together and do all that, but it's there now. And when we show up, we put on a good show. These racers put on a good show. We're honking at them going down the return road, and we're throwing shirts, and we're doing all kinds of fun stuff. And I love seeing the kids, man, and getting these kids involved. We've got a funny car chaos simulator now. It's done. It's wrapped. Kryptonite Customs just wrapped it. It's sitting at the shop. We were supposed to have it at Tulsa. Tulsa got rained out. Still haven't seen my simulator yet, but I can't wait to stuff a bunch of kids in that thing. We're doing a Tom Hoover tribute Showtime theme on the deal. Really cool deal. Just, it's getting the families out there for an affordable ticket. They got money left over before they get beat up at the gate to buy T-shirts and buy corn dogs, and you can get out of there for less than $100. I mean, it's just a cool deal. It's just a family vibe. Funny cars are cool. Nitro cars are cool. Come watch. Are you
Bone bucket.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Dude, that was crazy. Long time coming. Me and my best friend Alex Conaway got started on Mitch King's car in 03. Went on the Western Swing. So many stories I can never repeat, but lots of memories and lots of stuff. We went to the Western Swing that year, and then we went straight from Seattle or Sonoma to Boise with the Bone Bucket to run the Nightfire Nationals in Fuel Altered. Jeff Deal was there with the Witch Doctor and all these people. Man, it was so badass, and that car is just awesome. And I've seen that car for years before that, back running Outlaw Fuel Altereds here in Texas at Kennedale and stuff, and getting to meet Mitch and do all that and go on the road and the Bone Bucket deal, man, golly. And so, always wanted to drive that thing, and just never, the time never, right. And then met Tara and got her driving Hale's car, and we got driving front engine dragsters everywhere and running around and doing everything we're doing. And there's just not time to drive no race cars. And, finally, and then we had Levi, and we've got kids, and we can't race cars, and stuff. And so finally we're at the point where it's like, okay, maybe we can try to do something here. And Mitch got recently rebuilt a Bone Bucket there at Kevin Kingsley's shop, and boy, it needed it. I mean, that thing was bent to hell. I've seen him bounce that thing off the wall so many times. It's been on fire all over the country. And, to see the piece that came out of Kevin's shop, the Bone Bucket is running awesome last year. Mitch, I mean, that thing is going straight down the track, running 360s and 70s like nobody's business, with a Scott pump on the front of it. And it's just an awesome race car. And anyway, so I talked to Mitch about it, warmed it up at Havana last year, had a pedal clutch in it then. I'm like, I don't know, man, that pedal clutch is, ain't no joke. And so anyway, we changed some things up and whatnot, and made it a little easier to drive. I hadn't drove a car in 7 years, and I ain't never drove a nitro car before, so it was a big deal, right? And I'm gonna be careful and obviously be safe and be smart and whatnot. And that was all supposed to happen on Wednesday, and of course we lost Wednesday test. And so then Thursday there's a whole bunch of people there, and everybody's, why are you wearing racing shoes? What are you doing over here at Mitch's pit all day? What? And then so they figured it out eventually. I tried to keep it kind of quiet, but what an opportunity. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my best friend Alex. Thank you to my wife. It was awesome. Hopping in that thing was I'm not going to say I wasn't intimidated on the first run. It's an eye-opening experience for sure. But ended up going 417 and 409 were my two best runs. Made 3 runs total. Started off the day a couple hours out of the schedule there. Only got a 3-disc clutch in that thing. Made 4 runs right on 3-disc clutch, and I was trying to make my last run there, and it ran out of clutch. But it's all good. That's how you learn, nosing over and stuff and dropping holes and all that, because that's what it did. And it was pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't know, man. The Fuel Altereds are badass, and hopefully I'll get to do it again sometime. Maybe this year. Maybe we'll see. But I'm not gonna say I didn't like it.
That's awesome. Bedrock Racing Wonder Wagon says, great job, Chris. You ever coming to the West Coast for Moso?
Oh, that's an old story. We've been there, done that. We're going to Tucson, baby. Come see us in November.
Yeah, it's called Pre-Enter.
Yeah. That's a whole nother episode.
Yes, it's a whole nother episode for sure. Yes, it is. It's a whole nother episode. Oh, well, look, Chris, this year for Chaos, there's some new tracks.
Yep.
And keep marking off the list of tracks that want Chaos and are getting the Chaos. One of them being Tulsa, which was postponed in and of itself and is upcoming for another date. Great Lakes Dragway, some great places going to for the first time but also some great places going yet again. So, out there in chaos land, for anyone that wants to visit the nation and get them some chaos, what are some new places? What are some old places that are musts?
I mean, every time anybody says what race do I go to, I tell them Mocan Dragway. Period. There's just something about Mocan. The people are awesome. The track's awesome. The management's awesome. That's my favorite drag strip in the whole world. So who knows? I'm gonna try to drive that bone bucket at Mocan. I don't know, but Cordova's obviously awesome too. But we're super excited to go to Byron, Lebanon Valley, and Great Lakes. 3 new tracks this year. Those are tracks that have been banging on my door for years. And, bottom line is we can't do more races than we're doing. We're doing 7 or 8 funny cars and 5 or 6 nitros. I got 4 or 5 match races on top of that. We're done. I can't do more than that every year. That's it. So, we could have 40 races if we took them all, but it's just not reality. But super excited to get to Tulsa eventually in June. That was going to be a barn burner, man. Those people were fired up. We had 47 funny cars entered for that race. I mean, we were going to have an F field, but never been to Byron, never been to Lebanon, never been to Great Lakes Dragway. I'm all about going to tracks for the first time. I'm trying to get to 100 one day, so that'll help me knock 3 off the top right there. But people have got good things to say about all those places. And so we're ready to go. We're super excited. There ain't a bad chaos race to go to. You can go to any one of them. You should probably go to 3 or 4.
Any chance we get South Georgia Motorsports Park in one of those rotations?
Man, they're on the list of people that call me all the time, man. I don't know. There ain't no funny cars down there, man. There's like 3 funny cars within 10 hours of Atlanta. I don't know. Maybe there's more, but it's tough down there. I'm doing a match race in North Florida Motorplex, and I'm bringing cars in November. I'm bringing cars from Tennessee, Texas, Louisiana, because there are no cars. What a cool facility. I've been there. Love that track, man. We could totally rock that place. But, that's a kind of a place where we do these exhibition events like at Lebanon Valley. I can't, it goes back to being respectful to the racers and what we ask them to do. So my racers are from San Antonio to Chicago. That's 80% of my racer fan support is in that straight up the Midwest. So to drive to Atlanta is a long haul for everybody. I mean, they were griping about going to Baton Rouge and Albuquerque and stuff like that. So we could do an exhibition race maybe there, a non-points deal. Goes back to that same thing I just said though. We're tapped. Like we're running through the middle of November at least twice a month, if not 3 times a month. And I don't know, there's just not enough Chris and Terry to go around. But I've been trying to get Lee to maybe, be my little sidekick promoter guy and do some side gigs. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he'll want to help do that. He keeps texting me. He goes to all these tracks and goes, "Hey man, the manager wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Well, dude."
Let's see. A matter of fact, Fitzgerald Motorsports Park, talked to him. He's interested. So I hadn't told you that one yet. So that's Crossville, Tennessee. There you go. And I looked on the map. Music City Raceway outside Nashville. That's a great looking track. Never been there.
I've always wanted to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it is prime for some big events. And I looked on their calendar. I'm like, just do bracket racing. It seems like, what's up with that? Like, come on, you're outside of Nashville. Like, there should be some country stars and plenty of beer and some drag racing, and you'd have a show.
Yeah, and those, that we are doing some match races. Like, we can't. Unfortunately, I can't go back to Amarillo Dragway with a chaos race. It's just not safe. It's not a responsible thing to do. But we did an awesome match race there 3 weeks ago, and we're going back to Baton Rouge. Yeah, it's not on the Funny Car Chaos schedule. It's not a points race, but we're taking 10 funny cars down there and Farm Truck and Asian and all these other jets and all kinds of stuff down there. So these match races that I'm starting to do are supplementing those tracks. And it kind of goes back to the same thing, man. We got to keep these tracks open. We got to go down there and pack these places, and the people like it. We spent 3 years building Amarillo and 3 years building Baton Rouge, and unfortunately couldn't continue as a points race, but totally cool places to go do match races. And so South Georgia Motorsports Park could totally be one of those. We could do a funny car chaos versus nitro chaos. Who knows? I like doing all kinds of weird stuff, but South Georgia Motorsports Park's awesome. I've been there for a couple of them Duck X races back in the day, actually working for Bobby Bennett, and it was cool, man. That's a cool place. But there's a lot of cool tracks, man. I don't know. It's just we're doing as much as we can with what we got.
Yeah.
You're definitely showcasing that there are some old school elements to drag racing that should have never died and should have never went by the wayside, and they should have stayed in a prominent place, because I firmly believe when you look at the history of our sport that we're talking about, that we're in, match racing really made it. It was not national events. It was drag racing on the weekdays, then to go to the big event and get some clout and then book some more races across the country. You know, the Chi-Town Hustler makes its name match racing, not national events, and so on and so on and so on.
Right.
And I think that's got to come back around. And I think you're doing that. You're a part of that help in the sport.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, that's honestly what I'm trying to do. There's not a whole lot of people booking fuel cars for match races. I mean, thankfully in the Midwest, you know, US 131's got several good match races, and there's Cordova's World Series and obviously Night of Fire at Norwalk and all that, but those are long lasting, big money deals. This grassroots match racing deal with fuel cars is not as common as most people think. And when tracks call me that hey man, I want to have a funny car chaos race. Well, dude, you only seat 750 people and your shutdown's super short. And you don't have this and you don't have that. Hey, here's 8 phone numbers of chaos guys that I can recommend. Call any one of these 8 cars and they're going to put on a good show for you. You know, so I try to help out that way too when I can. Is just, you know, help like a, well, it doesn't matter what track it is, but you know, match racing is great and match racing needs to keep happening. There was a transition, it seemed like, there where when the no prep stuff and the street outlaws thing got big, that people quit booking in fuel cars and they started booking in street cars and door cars and stuff. And that's just evolution. Everything's changing all the time, and that's cool. But I'm all about booking in Blue Max, dude. I got Blue Max coming to Baton Rouge. I got them going to Florida. I got, we got Rat Trap coming to Florida. We got, bringing in the names. You know, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to see. And there's still enough people around that want to see the same thing. So it's cool. We're excited about it. Love match racing. Way easier for me. There's no qualifying orders. There's no eliminations. There's no, points. But I'm still at Ennis in my head. I mean, me and Terry did the payout for 4 hours today. We still haven't done the points. I've got all the websites updated. I've got all the results up. I got the photos up. But, I mean, we're still in Ennis. And we were at Ennis 7 days ago, and we're still doing Ennis. So it's a lot. But that's what we do.
Spectacular. Well, Chris, you're doing a good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your time on the Power Hour here tonight, and looking forward to getting some chaos soon.
Thanks, man. Pleasure to be here. Nice to talk to you guys, and we'll see you down the road.
See you, Mr. Graves.
See ya.
Good stuff.
Very good stuff. And hardworking individual, Chris, Tara, his wife, and the whole chaos team doing some phenomenal things in drag racing. And it is has to be one of the best tickets in drag racing per dollar, period.
It definitely appears that way. What's so important about it is, first of all, what he does gives other funny car drivers who may not necessarily be able to afford to run a national event, they're able to get out there and have a points race or run a match race. A lot of those guys are willing to do that. It's affordable. And they can still go out there and put on a show within their budget. And like you said, there's a lot to drag racing that doesn't need to fade away. And those match races are a heck of a lot of fun. You get great shows out of those. And then you got chaos. I understand being in a happy medium as far as the amount of races, where you go, making sure that you're not taxing out your racers as far as travel goes, because, let's face it, it's expensive. When you go to an outlier, sometimes, it's expensive, gets very expensive. So You got to do what works, and you got to do what's going to give you the racers, being able to have quality and put on quality races, but also going to give the fans, a good show as well. And he's doing a good job, a good balance of that. And it really shows in the guys, in the cars that show up to these events.
Absolutely. Well, the weekend of drag racing a lot of drag racing did take place. A lot of drag racing that was to take place did not.
Mm-hmm.
On that did, the PDRA, they were able to get their event in at Virginia Motorsports Park. You can see elimination coverage, I'm sure, on YouTube at Straight Line Media and other many places as well. Just search PDRA, and you can also see full elimination coverage on Flow Racing if you have that subscription. And Gulfport Dragway with TJ Pruitt drag coverage, they were able to have a big event. They did have to move to Sunday, but they got the Pro Mod show in. Scott Taylor Motorsports, they were able to pick up a win. And also, you've got drag racing that took place amongst the Cleats and Cars show. Bartone went out with Bellamere driving and Boggs tuning and the injected nitro combination. Even though it's down to like 90%, it still won. So, the alcohol flopper ranks are still going to be pitchforking for some changes, I'm sure, as the NHRA continues to work on parity with that particular hot rod, seemingly being a tiger amongst lambs, it feels at this moment out there in NHRA Top Alcohol Funny Car competition. They want to, declaw it a bit for sure. But racing also did not happen at many places. We had David Sharp on Dugenais, and they had to cancel. They knew that the forecast was not favorable, and that was also the case for the Southeast Gassers Association.
Yeah,
the past weekend, and it was postponed to this weekend. And guess what? There just might be yet another weather-related weekend ahead.
It's looking bad in a lot of spots this upcoming weekend as the rain chances increase. I want to say hi to the Queen Craft, Megan. Hello, how are you?
Hello, my lovely wife, Megan.
It's going to be
catch flack now because I didn't say it first. Thanks, Dugenais. I appreciate that.
It's okay. I saw it. I just saw it first. I got your back.
Okay.
And Fletcher Cox, man.
Yes.
Former Eagle, getting out there, goes to the semis, man.
Yeah.
Goes to the semis. Very impressive for Fletcher Cox. And he had a good ride, and he was driving it very well. I mean,
yes,
straight as an arrow. So good stuff there. And I see you there, Andrew. I saw that as well. Kill Care with the IHRA. That's pretty interesting stuff there as they continue to move forward.
but where?
Yeah. Where are we going?
Look,
final destination.
I certainly appreciate the announcement. I know. Look. Apparently, there is a vision, but what is the vision?
Right.
I hope it's not a vision in smoke and mirrors at this point.
Right.
IHRA, if you're out there needs to be, at this point, I think, a big PR move of some authenticity and transparency.
Yeah.
Where it is the owner and whatever leadership there is sitting down with somebody. I'm talking like the interviewer in the chair talking to the president, and they're the only ones there, and you see them on camera. That type of conversation of what the heck is happening and where it is going. Hey, if you want to do that, I'm more willing to do it. Duchesne over there is willing to do it. Bobby Bennett's willing to do it. We'll have that conversation, but you need to be having that conversation because even though you're buying tracks, even though you're making these announcements, there are so many people right now, racers, more importantly than even the fans, they don't have confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Duchesne, right now, the conspiracy is that all of these are being bought up so that they can later be turned over into warehouses because of the owner with his association with Amazon, UPS, and his company and where he makes his bacon. Okay? I mean, that's the conspiracy. I'm not saying it's happening,
right?
But that's what is out
exactly.
there. Like, get ahead of some of this stuff.
Right.
I understand that you might not have Rich Schaefer there. You might not have Alan Reinhart there now. You might not have Mr. Bird there anymore. Just be open about these things and why there's been so much turnover. I really believe authenticity and transparency is going to go much further in 2025 than keeping things behind closed doors. We are all the time fussing about the NHRA and their lack of transparency. And right now, the IHRA looks like a, incompetent deep state compared to the front-running NHRA.
Yeah. The fact that we've had all these changes and the only person who put stuff out there was Bobby Bennett. That's the only person who's spoken about anything. And leadership needs to, explain what's going on here. What's the direction? Where are we going? Because I'm sure the racers also want to know that as well. Because at the end of the day, the heck with the fans. We need them, but fans, no racers, you don't have no fans. So they've got to have some type of confidence in what you're doing. And all this tight-lipped, everybody's quiet, and you're making all these moves, yet there's disaster that continues to happen as you are buying up these tracks and nobody is saying anything. It just doesn't look good. And bottom line is, if the NHRA was to do some of these non-transparent things, we would be hitting them with baseball bats. And it's time that right now, you guys are being hit with baseball bats. Like, it's time to come out of the shadows and open your mouth and give folks a answer or some kind of direction on where you're going. Because all of this shenanigans is unprofessional. It looks amateurish, and you all look like fools.
It does. Get ahead of it. I really think in this time, silence is not helping.
No.
And even though that announcement was made yesterday, that KillCare was purchased. Like, what comment sections I read through, there was either neutrality or the positivity was telling everyone that was negative, which were more in the comment section. Just give them time. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to giving time, but we're at a point where you need to give your word so you can have time.
Yeah. Yep.
Because other than a few diehards I've noticed, it seems like most of the racers out there, they just are not confident at this point.
No, and I don't blame them. They haven't given any type of inclination that they should be trusted. There's too much shady stuff going on behind the scenes that nobody wants to talk about, but yet, you got Reinhardt just vanishes and makes a little tweet and goes on about his business, and nobody says nothing. You fire a guy, and
he is available. Like I called, we weren't able to work it out, but David Lancaster, the announcer for the Southeast Gases Association, we're not going to be able to have him this weekend. I reached out to Alan Reinhart, was like, "Hey, you want to come announce a Sega race?" He was open. He was available. It didn't work out price-wise just because it's so late and airfare and expenses and that thing. But yeah, he is available. So, true. It's out there, I mean, and Like, what is Rich Schaefer doing now? I don't know, but I mean, he's available. That might be a quality guy to have on your team wherever you're at. But man, I so badly want IHRA to do well. I know many people watching this show might not hear me that way by what I've said, but I mean, Duchesne, I was an IHRA person. When I did junior dragsters, I preferred running in the IHRA opposed to NHRA. We could run like wear shows, Greer, Dragway, IHRA tracks right there in South Carolina, or we could go run Commerce, NHRA at Atlanta Dragway. And, it was fun still running NHRA, but the crowd and the people that were in the IHRA just preferred racing with them and those tracks more often than not, and then had success in junior drag racing in the IHRA. And then it carried over to the point that when we moved, Mom, Dad, and I from South Carolina to Texas, and we still continue to do junior drag racing, we skipped the NHRA track that was like 45 minutes down the road to go an hour and a half down the road from Texas to Gillum, Louisiana at what was Red River to do IHRA drag racing.
Yeah.
And went to IHRA national events. It's like, hey, these are pretty good shows.
Mm-hmm.
So want to see IHRA do well.
It's needed.
But right now, let me put it this way, Duchesne. If IHRA right now said, the weekend before Labor Day, we're going to have a big race, just wherever. We're inviting media. I don't know if I'd bother because they haven't shown anything right now that gives me any confidence that they could have a successful event.
Yeah.
Owning tracks doesn't prove much.
No. We've seen that before.
Yep.
We've seen that before. And Andrew, I don't know. Need to talk to ownership, because I feel like when you start talking to people below that, you're just going to get a whole bunch of cliche. You're going to get a whole bunch of nothing.
We already had that.
Yep.
We had it right here on the show.
Talking around everything.
And he's not there no more. So, I mean, what's... Yeah. And look, here we are again. What are we talking about? We're talking about IHRA. I give them this. They're really leaning in on there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Okay. They are really leaning into that right now.
Yeah.
Because here we are. We're talking about it again. They got the buzz, but it is not a good buzz, because even though you bought KillCare, even though you're living up to that list that everybody was like, in principle, what's that mean? Bunch of rainbow soup is all that is.
Right.
And they keep buying. But you don't inspire confidence with your purchases when at Galat Motorsports Park, the NTPA says, oh, we're not having one of our national events there at that facility because we can't work it out with ownership. And ownership is now who? The IHRA. And in the press release with KillCare, you mentioned the oval, but yet you can't operate for one weekend, apparently, a tractor pull pad.
Yeah. That don't make sense. The math ain't mathing.
Somebody sit down with someone else and have a good conversation. And when I mean good, I don't mean polished. I mean a bit challenging.
Yep.
I mean a bit authentic. I mean a bit exposing, okay?
Be some
and get down to the nitty-gritty.
conversation.
Because in this day and time, people are going to value and appreciate that. But you continue to just buy tracks and not be out front. Let me put it this way, Duchesne. About once a year, we have Glenn Cromwell come on this show. That is the president of the NHRA. So, president of IHRA, you're welcome.
Yep. And he answers the tough questions.
We may not
May
agree.
not like the answer, or may not
Right,
agree with
but
them,
he
but he
does.
answers tough questions.
Yeah, he does.
So, I mean, come on. I think it only benefits them, but at this point, like not saying anything is really hurting whatever direction they're trying to go in, because nobody knows that. So, what's the relationship? We don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
Of what we do know and what was announced, the IHRA and the WDRA have a partnership with racers track to track. Okay, that's what it is. So, as a racer, from what I understand with their partnership, there's not extra fees and things of that nature tacked on going both places.
Gotcha. Okay. But I mean, we still don't have any.
Yep.
We don't have any races, and don't have
It's basically recognizing each other's licenses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But the WDRA has events and they're operating, and we don't know what they're doing. So
Right, and the WDRA, I will give them credit. What they stated from the beginning is we're for the sportsman racer. Like, they are not interested in having a WDRA Nitro Jam.
right.
They are not interested in having a WDRA Fuel Altered Nationals. Nothing like that.
Right.
They are interested in supporting the sportsman racer. And I appreciate that. And they're sticking to their mission.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a WDRA track like Eddyville Raceway Park, they're in Eddyville, Iowa, you certainly can have nitro cars because they have Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos come in, and they have the World Fuel Altered Nationals. But it's not a WDRA event. WDRA events are for the sportsman racer.
I can respect that.
And they're doing good things for tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they're sticking to the mission. I don't know what the IHRA's mission right now is.
No.
Look, again, I can appreciate to some point purchasing these tracks and laying a foundation for the future. But you can also lay down a future in what you do and don't do, and what you do say and you don't say. And yes, I see the money being thrown around, but we need to know something.
Yeah. Because honestly, their mouth has overloaded their ass. Like, they said a lot of stuff coming out, and okay, now we know nothing, but
Yeah.
you continue to buy tracks, but everything you said earlier, there's been nothing on that. No progress, no movement, no new announcements, nothing. You just announcing buying tracks. Great, but you have no events.
Yeah.
There's
Look, we've got buying tracks, but yet those tracks that are multi-use facilities, some of them, their other events are being canceled with Premier Leagues. And your leadership has been annihilated, apparently, for the most part, other than the owner and a couple other key individuals. And names that you pressed in press releases are now gone, and there's no follow-up to why that is.
Yeah. It's not a good look, man. Not a good look. And you're hurting those tracks because that's money lost. And you mean that you're too much in your way as an owner that you couldn't get a tractor pulled off? Like, that kind of says a lot about what we've seen here lately when it comes down to ownership.
Yeah. Yep. So, again, invitation, IHRA. Feel free to come on the show. And we're looking for someone top brass.
Yeah.
Because NHRA President Glenn Cromwell comes on the show, talks, gives time, answers hard questions. IHRA, how about that? We just had Chris Graves, owner and promoter, Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos. Okay, so top. So IHRA, invitation, top. Come on and give us the top stories and instill some confidence into the fan base and the racer base for the future.
Yep, we're not hard to find.
Right. We don't just want your check signed. We want to hear from you.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Dujanay, there is obviously drag racing happening this weekend. Southeast Gassers Association is back at Holiday Raceway. Well, they weren't there last weekend. Postponed as long as weather holds out. So be looking for announcements on the yay or nay of racing this weekend. Hey, Rockingham Dragway, their own series with Pro Mods at the Rock continues this weekend as well on Friday night. And if I remember correctly, Piedmont Dragway, one of those original Pro Mod shows, the Big Dog, is going down Thursday night as well. So you've got a lot of action happening, okay?
Yeah, should be fun. Hopefully the weather holds out. It's been it's looking wicked here throughout the southeast area as far as rain goes. So it's going to be interesting here over the next couple of days to see how everything pans out with this weather. What did Dave say?
Well, I think you go rest in the shade. And you make it a little brighter.
Look, I really don't care about feelings, Dave, and you know that. So, I mean, if their feelings are hurt, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And to be honest with you, the receipts are there. So, if you want to refute those receipts that we're seeing, then they can come on the show. I mean, you know, it can't get any worse because really, honestly, what we're saying isn't any worse than what they're doing. I mean, let's be honest, and I'm going to say it straight up. They look like asses. So, hey, I'm just calling a spade a spade. And if we're wrong, then you come on the show to say that. But at the moment, the receipts say you're looking like a bunch of asses.
Again, there doesn't seem to be much confidence right now.
So
there doesn't. And I hope it all comes out and IHRA is competing and racers have another place to go. And when I say racers, yes, sportsmen in mind, but we are obviously talking about Mountain Motor Pro Stock, 500 cubic inch Pro Stock, Pro Mod. Well, I don't know. Pro Mod may not need another place to race. They got some great places to race already. But nitro cars, whether fuel, ultra funny car, or top fuel especially, because honestly, if you have a top fuel car, there's not much you're doing with it other than maybe trying to book a match race.
Yeah.
Of wherever can do that, and very few places are doing that, like US 131 Motorsports Park, or you're running NHRA.
And you're probably not running that if you need. Let's face it, you need to have a certain amount of. You need a certain amount of good equipment when it comes down to engine parts. You want to run NHRA. You can come in there and run all day long. That's fine. Sure. But I guarantee you won't qualify.
Right.
So, you know, you can come run if you want to, but I mean, we got what? Let's see. Looking at this list here, you've got Lex June, you've got Kyle Wartzel, you've got Terry Totten, Dan Mercier. Look, those guys bringing good equipment, they can qualify. You can run it, but I guarantee you ain't beating out none of those if you don't have the equipment, don't have the parts that you need to run in the NHRA. It's a different ball game. So, you know, you probably just best stick in the match racing. And hopefully
right. You look at this list, there's 17 cars entered currently for the Gerber Collision and Glass NHRA Nationals at Route 66 Raceway presented by Peak.
Oh, I forgot Will Smith.
And yeah, Will Smith. And honestly, Will Smith with that ride with Luigi Novelli, that might be the top candidate to be that 17th car.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly. Granted, that's not an inexperienced team. That's not an inexperienced group. Anyone slips up, they can make that field.
Yeah.
And certainly Terry Totten, he can make that field. Lex June, they can make that field. Obviously, Dan Mercier, I mean, yeah, without a doubt, they can make that field. And Kyle Wurtzel, he's another one. We didn't mention it earlier. My goodness, I would hate to. If I'm full time and it's like, man, look at these part time guys taking up the field. Kyle Wurtzel is another one that I don't want to see on the list.
No, they run. All these cars run clean. That's the whole dynamic that's different these days. When it comes to part timers coming, I mean, I mean, you knew when Bruce Linton showed up, you knew that he was making a couple passes. He was likely oiling that track down at least 2 to 3 of them.
Right.
You knew it. These guys these days are very polished. Doesn't matter. They don't have the budgets that everybody else, but man, they not only are polished, but they come out and they can run quality numbers that can put some of these big guys on the trailer if they slip up. So it's just a different day and time now when it comes down to these part-time racers. They are very, very capable, and they do come out and put out a polished product. They're not coming out there and delaying the race by completely oiling the track down.
Right. And Dave mentions when IHRA drops their eight race schedule next year and Team Salinas and Team Torrance headline the Top Fuel Show, it's going to be great. I think that would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool to see. Why not?
And like I said, anything with the IHRA is going to be budget friendly.
Right.
So,
but here's the deal.
That would be awesome, though.
We've already been given such things. Those things have been pulled back.
Yeah.
Somebody just set it straight and be open and be honest. That's all.
Drag Race Mayhem makes a good point, though. You got nine full-time Top Fuel cars this year, and maybe at most 6 are truly race-winning cars. It's a good point. I mean, some of those guys that are, haven't necessarily put their best foot forward have the ability to do that, or we've seen them be able to rinse and repeat and put up the numbers. It just hasn't happened consistently yet. I also think some of that is due to the fact that this year has been quite interesting when it comes down to track conditions, even just from qualifying to eliminations. It's all been different. And some of these newer teams, it's a tough change on the fly, but I say newer teams, and we've seen some of the big teams get bit by these track conditions. So it's kind of even the playing field a little bit. If you just sometimes you gotta, sometimes I feel like you gotta go a little on the conservative side when you see a couple guys go up there who are very well capable of running numbers and they have the yips. Dial it back. I mean, I know nobody wants to get beat because they, ran a slower ET and they, because they went conservative. But sometimes you got to, when you see all these other people struggling, you got to at least give yourself an opportunity to get a win. And I think if some of these teams were able to do that, just run A to B, not try to throw up low ET or what you think you might need, they would have gone rounds because the drivers next to them either had a case of the yips, they got into a little tire wisping down the track and was spinning a lot more than hooking, and they would have drove around them. There's just a lot that would have been there for a lot of these teams, whether it's Top Fuel or Funny Car, if they just ran a simple run and give themselves an opportunity.
Well, we're going to have certainly our eyes peeled, ears open to whatever comes next.
Yeah.
There are still a couple of tracks left on that original list that were mentioned in principle. So we'll see what continues there for
Wasn't it
IHRA.
MIR? Wasn't MIR one of those in
Yes,
prison?
it was. It was. It was.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. They were once a IHRA track.
Oh yeah, yes.
And that event was
President's
awesome.
Cup, right?
Yes.
President's Cup. Yep.
That event was awesome.
Yep.
I mean, people turned out for that event.
Right.
It will be nice, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. Because they're doing just fine without them right now.
Yep.
So
I mean, they got one of the premier events for drag racing in the world with the happens every autumn. The domestic.
Yes. God dang it. I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it's slipping my mind now. It's on my list, and I have not been to it as of yet. MIR is a great facility, by the way. If you all out there have not been there, World Cup Finals. Thank you, Drag Racing.
There you go.
World Cup Finals is a spectacular event and has so many big names come to it, and from across car culture too.
Yeah.
It is one of those events. So, yeah, they're doing cool things. They're doing cool things for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, somebody just clear the air on everything IHRA.
Yep, will be fun. Hey, you know, August 8th and 9th, it still says President's Cup Nationals on their schedule right now. August 8th and 9th still has President's Cup Nationals. So I don't know.
Oh, by the way, let me look really quick. If I'm not mistaken, see, is it this weekend or is it next weekend? Oh, let's see. It may very well be next weekend because interesting event is going to be taking place. One that, in the grand scheme of drag racing, honestly is unique. So Cecil County Dragway is going to be having an event, and it is this weekend. It is May 9th, 10th. They've got the Outlaw Streetcar Shootout. Now, nothing new there, but a part of this event, they're going to have Top Alcohol Dragster Shootout, and there's like $15,000 on the line for the winner. And that's different. That's different for Top Alcohol Dragster to get a nod of, hey, you're going to be a big part of an event and not just be kind of back burner. So, you know, right now, I know Megan Meyer is going to be there. Gary Pritchett's going to be there with Randy Meyer Racing. I know that Megan Smith with Hartman Racing, they're going to be there. It should be a phenomenal show. I expect Jackie Frick to be there as well. You're going to have some heavy hitters there. I don't see why the McPhillips gang wouldn't be there. So you're going to have some top competitors there in Top Alcohol Dragster competing for the win there at Cecil County Dragway.
Yeah, I think that's smart. And I think more tracks need to kind of get involved in that. You know, I personally believe that the alcohol class is looking for a place to run and be able to run a series to where they are the show and the front runners of that show. I really think that more tracks need to kind of get involved in that, having these type of, you know, shootout type races with money on the line, showcasing them. Because there's great racing within that. Maybe you can't house, you know, nitro cars, you know, but you can definitely house those. And I think they would make a great show. But that's very cool that they're doing that. I think more people need to get on board with that as well. that I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun. Dujane, anything else here for the Power Hour?
No, I think we got it. I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, to our guests, TJ Zizzo and Chris Graves, thank you once again for your time. Everyone there in the chat bleachers, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We appreciate you chiming in. And this has been another episode of the Competition Plus Power Hour. We look forward to doing it again. Hopefully, we're able to do it again next Tuesday. And I've got a Southeast Gases Association race under my belt. If that doesn't happen, I may be looking where else to go. Maybe even pop up to Cecil for all I know, or find somewhere else and get another drag race in and get some content on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. But nonetheless, looking forward to this weekend. And if you got a race to go to and it doesn't get rained out, get to the track.
Yeah, because it's gonna be it's gonna be tough to dodge these raindrops. So we'll see if you can do it. Get there.
There needs to be a league in drag racing that can race in the rain. We need to start that. Somebody start that.
Just gotta get some rain tires.
Folks, everyone, good night. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.
QuartermileClassifieds.com is a new and easier alternative to online classified advertising. We make it a simple experience with $20 getting your car, hauler, engine, or parts listed for 2 weeks. If you want to make a bigger splash, we have VIP listings that provide even more exposure, including social media. On QuartermileClassifieds.com, you get up to 10 photos of video and up to 2,000 characters to deliver the message you need to make the sale. QuartermileClassifieds.com is a trusted classified ad partner of Competition Plus and the Roof Deck Comp Eliminator Bonus Fund. Visit QuartermileClassifieds.com today.